Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy King J, and today we have a special episode with you. Teach me Kazuya with none other than TheMainManSWE. Now, welcome on board, man.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a real pleasure being with you. I'm a huge fan, and I hope you're doing great.
Thank you very much for that, man. It's an honor to have you on the show, and yeah, like I've seen you put in a lot of work over the years with Tekken content, so it's really good to kind of collaborate and do this episode with you. So yeah, we're gonna go over some stuff with Kazuya. So we have key moves, wave dash, crouch dash moves, how to get good with execution, grabs, rage drive, and how to fight against. So if you can teach me through Kazuya's key moves, please.
Absolutely. And I think the move to start with is the Electric Wind God Fist, the Electric, which I would say is now pound for pound the best move in the game. With Season 2, it got tracking to both sides. In Season 3, they made it recover super fast, even on whiff, like in older Tekken games. Games like Tekken 5 and prior to that. So it's almost overpowered now. It's so good. If you do it as quickly as possible, it is a 13 frame launcher. Kazuya's Electric is 1 frame faster than both Hayachi's and Devil Jin's. If you do a perfect Electric, that's inputting it very quickly with a very specific input. So again, it can be a 13 frame high launcher, plus 5 on block, knocks them away from you. Great for pressure, pretty all-round good in most instances. And now, again, with the Season 3 buff, very hard to whiff punish. They have to be almost inhuman in reaction speed to punish you. So this is definitely one of Kazuya's absolute key moves. Arguably the best move in the game. Mm-hmm. After that, I would mention Kazuya's forward 4, which is a 19 frame mid, which is rewarding no matter what it does. If it hits, you're at +7. If it hits on counter hit, it knocks down for a guaranteed forward 4. That's 41 damage, and the forward 4 backflipping them into crazy Okiseme, which Kazuya does really well. And if it hits on block, it's +4. +4 on block. So sure, it's a little bit slow to come out, but that's, often the case with Kazuya's moves. And it has no crushing, so you won't high crush as you're trying to throw this out. But as soon as it connects, it's a win almost no matter what happens. So that's the second move I would mention. Third move could be, honestly, his down 4-2. That's a 14 frame mid that counter hit launches. It's not too spectacular on normal hit. It gives you +5, and it is -12 on block, but at 14 frames, it is very fast. So this on counter hit nets you pretty big damage if you know what you're doing. And of course, it should be mentioned, but yeah, if you're super fast with electrics, you can get a full launch here with the perfect electric, but that's very, very, very hard and reserved for really hardcore enthusiasts of a character. But make no mistake, that's a great move, and of course it's homing. That's obviously something we have to mention.
Yeah.
And next up I would mention is down back 4. So again, a little bit slow to come out at 20 frames, but still an unseeable low poke. That's +4 on hit, and this opens up a mind game because it's very specifically for 2 is uninterruptible. If you do a dick jab or a jab, you will trade with the down for 2, and it will counter hit and you will get launched. So this is a mind game that starts off Kazuya's offense in that if this connects, a very basic mind game is to follow up with down for 2. Or if you're expecting down for 2, they will probably just try and block and freeze, and you can try and apply a sort of mix-up on them. But so down back 4 is a really good poke, and worth mentioning that on counter hit, you get a very meaty +17, offering you pretty much a free mix-up on the opponent. And now in Season 3, this also hits grounded, which is extremely good. And a character that already has good Oki, like Kazuya, that's a big buff. Thanks for the flip there. And next up, we should mention forward 3, which also you'll see this a lot with Kazuya. no crushing on his attacks, and all of the good moves come out at 20 frames. He's 50-50, health sweep, 20 frames. Forward, forward, free, 20 frames. 20 frames, 20 frames, 20 frames. And no crushing on these attacks. So that's why pro players will always say that you take a big risk playing Kazuya. You don't have good poking and most of the good moves, no crushing, and they come out at 20 frames. So that's worth remembering with the character. But still, forward free, again, if you do get it out, it's a natural hit launcher. No counter hit needed. It has pretty long range, leads to huge damage. And on block, it's only -3. It's not even like -8 or anything like that. And what that means is that you're very much free to sidestep or apply mind games. It's like not too bad at all having this blocked. And that, of course, forms the very basic 50-50 with Kazuya from his legendary crouch dash. Just tap forward free after a crouch dash and you'll get forward free. And of course the hell sweep. And the hell sweep should be the next move mentioned. Unseeable low that knocks down the opponent, does 33 damage, places them right next to Kazuya, and they have a very, very hard time standing up after that. But I'm gonna get more into that later, but that's absolutely one of his best moves. But Kazuya is weak to people who sidestep towards the left, so that's if they step towards Kazuya's right shoulder, is weak to that. But the big problem with moves like Hell Sweep and forward free is that both of these options are steppable towards the left, as King J just demonstrated. So that's another key move I would mention is while standing 4. This should not be confused with standing down forward 4. These have the same animation, as you can see, both of these attacks, but they're completely different. Oh, wow. If I stand and do a down forward 4, it is 13 frames. And that might make you say, oh, so he has something like a classic down forward 1, because his down forward 1 comes out at 15 frames. It's not 13 frames.
Yeah.
But Kazuya's down forward 4, as you can see, is -9 on block. So you give away all of your momentum. And it's the same with back 2, but some people say, oh, he does have a mid poke that comes out at 14 frames. Yeah, but again, it's -8. So it's like you give away your momentum. But if you put in the execution and do a crouch dash into while standing 4, -3. And on hit, that's actually +8. So there's an enormous advantage.
That's crazy.
Introducing the pretty hardcore execution demands of playing this character. Like, arguably your best poke.
You're gonna go in, duck, and then do a while standing 4. You gotta be able to do a crouch dash and quickly throw this out.
Okay.
So that's a great move. And of course, jab, universal move in Tekken, always great to have. Kazuya's jab is weaker than Devil Jin's. Devil Jin has more range, a bigger hitbox on his jab, but still a jab is nice to have. I really enjoy sidestep free with Kazuya. It's a very underrated. It's a very long range, safe mid launcher. This will clip people far away from Kazuya trying to move in on him, or people far away, twitching like this with movement and they think they're safe. This is like a sniper to me. It just hits so far away. And the follow-up combo is actually a very good source of Oki for the character. Jay, if you just hold forward, you'll just do something like this. Down forward 1, 4, up forward 3, and then they're grounded right next to you. And if they try to stand on the electric and launch ramp, down back 4, now hitting grounded is great. So that's a very underrated move. It's really good. But this sort of, all of this combined is sort of the basics of Kazuya. And then you can, the basic key moves, and then you can show stuff like homing back 4 to shut down people stepping you towards the left, because that's the most basic anti-Kazuya, step towards the left. Back 4 can shut that down while standing 3. These are both safe homing moves. Back 4 is also a counter hit launcher, which is really nice. While standing 3, completely safe, knocks down. Good move for your vortex. It has pretty long range. But yeah, that's it. It's like his down forward 1, not that good. You'll use it once in a while, but ever since season 2, it gives an easy 15 frame launcher. Not launcher, but 15 frame punisher. Sort of 50 damage with the forward 4 into Oki. Prior to season 2, you had to electric punish. Minus 13, 14, 15. But it's kind of, if you're not very good with electrics, it's kind of nice to have this for minus 15. Pretty nice. But those are the basics of Kazuya. It's like there's not a whole lot of moves that go into this character. It's also worth noting that if you want to move in on a Steve, you know, characters that have really good high attacks, maybe counter hit launchers. And as I told you, Kazuya keeps his back completely straight and his moves are pretty slow. A crouch dash into his forward roll, that's crouch dash 3+4, is actually pretty damn decent. It's minus 11 on block, or maybe is it minus 12? Yeah, it's minus 11. So they'll get a while standing 4 on you, but it has a lot of crushing, and that's something Kazuya has very little of. It crushes highs, evades some mids that have a pretty high mid hitbox, and if it does connect, you get a guaranteed forward 4. So if you just eat this King J, eesh, you get that for good Oki and some decent damage. So that's some nice utility. I should also mention upward 3, safe mid that knocks down and wall splats, and low crushes. Doesn't have a hop kick, so you'll rely on this and this, and doesn't have a standard down for 2 either. And this distinguishes Kazuya greatly from other characters. Characters, for example, like Marduk and Brian, very unorthodox. No hop kick, no down forward 1, you know, the standard down forward 1, no standard down forward 2. So it's very different. Kazuya has no panic buttons. Back one, oh, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Oh my god, my binds are changed, sorry. Back 1+2 is not a good panic tool. It's really bad, it's minus 12. Has very little evasion. If you try and apply this to get out of pressure, you have a very good chance of getting counter hit. It's not a good move. So yeah, no real panic buttons. Very bad poking. But yeah, so I would say that's it for key moves.
Okay, cool. So like now we're gonna go into wave dash and crouch dash moves. So you spoke briefly about his crouch dash moves, which is the one where he goes like this. So like moves where you can go into like wave dash and do like electric, hell sweep and stuff like that. Just talk me through those moves, man.
Right. So again, it's a little bit risky to do on someone who's, you know, pressuring you greatly. But if your opponent is if you're in the neutral and your opponent is respecting you a lot, or you forced him to respect you a lot, you can go for a 50-50, which is one of Kazuya's greatest strengths, arguably the greatest 50-50 in the game. But you also have characters like Akuma, etc. But the very basic 50-50 with Kazuya is if they duck, forward 3, you get a launch. If it is blocked, not too bad. If they're not ducking, you can throw hell sweeps to try and condition them into ducking, so you can apply your forward 3. And the hell sweep doesn't do a shitload of Oki situation. And I should just say straight away that this character completely changes as soon as he knocks you into the ground. This is why he has very good punishments and why all of his punishing tools knock you to the ground. All of this is just to set up Kazuya's 50-50. Oh, you're minus 10, 1-1-2. He knocks you down. Oh, if you hold forward, King J. Minus 10, he knocks you down on your butt, like so. And it's all there to set up with 50-50. So again, not very good pressure in the neutral when you're standing, but as soon as he knocks you to the ground, it's like a predator that senses blood, or that you're in, you know, the victim is lying on the ground. Now it's your turn. And that's where you apply his disgusting vortex, as most people refer to it to. And it's basically, as you deter him from lying down on the ground with a rather brain dead forward 4, which deals great damage, backflips them,
and resets the situation. Oh, I'm right next to you again. I can just loop that over and over if you stay on the ground. And then if a good Kazuya player sees that, okay, now you're tech rolling or you're trying to stand up again, okay, I'll just on you as you're trying to get back on your feet. And if I get the hell sweep again, oh, the situation is reset again, and you have to try and stand up again. So that is the vortex, and the vortex ends as soon as you're able to get to your feet, and the next move is blocked. Then Kazuya usually goes a little bit more defensive again, depending on how aggressive a player is.
Okay. So
very momentum-based character. Most of the time, it's blocking, and then seeing an opportunity to punish, knock them down, and then, oh, it's Kazuya's turn. You go very, very aggressive, and you try and force as many 50-50s as you can, or just, if they stay on the ground, forward. And that, in a nutshell, I would say, is how Kazuya works. But good options in the 50-50. Again, the very basic is this. But if you want to keep it safer, the hell
sweep
board on this move is not in your favor. If it hits, you get 33 damage plus Oki. If it's blocked, I mean, if there's a wall, you can eat 100 damage. If they have rage, they can kill you. So most of the time, you don't really want to use the hell sweep. It depends on your. It's a preferential thing. It's subjective. Some people love throwing hell sweeps. If you do that, go for it. But I would say it's something. That move is so good that most people, you don't even have to use the move for it to be effective. It's so good that most opponents going into a match with Kazuya will have that move so ingrained inside of their brain that they will randomly just twitch duck you because they're so afraid of the hell sweep.
That's true.
So my is always to keep it safe. Oh, should have mentioned down back 2 before. Very good move. It's quite steppable, but it's a -9 safe mid that knocks down into a guaranteed forward. It's really good, but keep in mind that it's very steppable, which is a weakness of Kazuya's. But I would say try keep it safe. Use forward 3, safe on block, forward 4, down forward 1, jab, while standing 4. If you want a low, you can use down back 4. But if you notice that your opponent, he never ducks, then you can start, in my opinion, conditioning with hell sweeps. But I would say try to refrain from being a Kazuya player that just loves to throw hell sweeps. And another move that should be mentioned now as well, which is sort of a key move, is his while standing 2. This is a homing move, which most of the time, if we look at, I hope I'm not rambling too much here, but if we look at like beginner to intermediate level Kazuya players, they will use this mostly as a punish. They block a sweep, they do while standing 2 to launch.
Yeah.
But this move sort of changes once you look at high level or competitive play Kazuya players. They will still use that to punish, but suddenly they will use that also as an offensive move in the 50-50 vortex, instead of a forward 3, to catch people who attempt to sidestep Kazuya. Because at high level play, people step at 50-50. So that's why you'll see Boa Love, for example, throw that while standing 2 a lot from the wave dash to catch people stepping. But do keep in mind that this move is -18. In beginner and intermediate level of play, you'll get as the same as down for 2, because they sort of share the same animation. So people think this move is -12, but it is -18. So every character in the game can launch that. And in high level play, everyone is going to launch that, unfortunately. But that's a very important thing to note about his 50-50. In high level play, you'll see much more. Rather than forward 3, which is so vulnerable to stepping, people will mix hell sweep and while standing 2. A safer option here is to do wave dash while standing 3, which again, pretty decent, knocks down, resets the situation. They have to try and stand up again, and it's perfectly safe, long range. Yeah, that is sort of Kazuya's 50-50. If you want to keep it safe, down back 4, while standing 3, good options. If you want the damage, it is hell sweep, or forward 3, or while standing 2, basically. If you want crushing, you can do the forward roll. You can also apply throws. Oh, sorry, wrong bind. This is wave dash. Hold the last down forward +1/+2, and you get this throw. And it looks so badass. So it's a win on its own.
Nice. So we spoke about the moves that are out of the wave dash. So like I wanted to talk about one more move. So obviously we spoke about the hell sweep, but he has the double hell sweep. Do you think do you consider this as a good move or not really?
It has its uses. Most of the time, I mean, if only the second sweep connects, it will launch the opponent. Okay, I just dropped that. Sorry. Like, so it has to hit pretty deep, but that's very good to know. And most people are so used to seeing this that as soon as they see that first sweep, they just hold back, expecting the punch, because it's so rare that people use this. So they block standing, expecting the punch, and then the sweep comes out instead, and they get launched. Or at the very least, you'll get a forward 4. But the second sweep is also just as launch punishable as the first sweep at -23. So you are gambling with your life, and it can clip people who sidewalk Kazuya or sidestep the first sweep. The second hit can. Again, it's very risky. Gives pretty funny Oki if both hits hit. As you can see, they end up with their head towards you on their back. Can give some pretty disgusting Oki, but most of the time you will be using this for the damage and the Oki, and the fact that it can actually wall splat. It certainly has added utility at the wall, especially from this angle right here. You can just down forward 1/4 basically to very consistently. Sorry about that.
No worries.
If you stand up again. Oh wait, you're a little bit too close. Wait.
Right here.
Yeah, like so. From here, it will very consistently launch, like so.
Nice.
That's really good to know. So if a wall is to your Kazuya's right shoulder, that means the hell sweep will turn into a launcher if the distance is proper to the wall. It's very consistent.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm hoping I'm not missing any super crucial.
No, I think that's pretty much the stuff that you've spoke about.
And that should cover the crouch dash as well. Do you want to talk about how to get good execution?
Yeah.
I think that's on your list. Yeah.
1 second though. All right, so we've been having some mic issues, but we're gonna still get on with it. So we're gonna talk about how to get good with execution with Kazuya.
Right. So the thing is, you can play Kazuya even if you don't have good execution. It really depends on what your goal is with the character. To punish at 15 frames, as I said, you can use that downward 1-2 if you don't have a good electric. But if your goal is to become as good as possible with the character and you dream of becoming, a tournament player or anything close to that, I would say you really have to practice wave dashing. You have to be able to do crouch dashes quickly. The wave dash is very important to close the distance on your opponent quickly while realigning with the opponent. Because just dashing forward is not going to do that. That's very linear. But when you wave dash, every single crouch dash realigns with the opponent. So if Kenji was to start sidewalking now, my wave dash would track him. You see? That's why you want a good wave dash. That's why that is of such great utility for the Mishimas. Realign, apply 50-50.
That's nice.
So yeah, so you really want to practice that, and that's hard to acquire on both sides, but don't give up, give it time, and it will start becoming very natural and organic for you. If you struggle with the input, don't rush it, as a lot of people do. They try and do it as quickly as possible immediately, and it looks like a seizure. I would say just get very smooth with just doing it slowly like this. And then, you know, step up the speed after a couple of weeks of practice. And you're going to need a very strong electric on both sides. Practice electric from neutral, sidestep electric quickly, backdashing into electrics, wave dashing into electrics. All of this has to be mastered on both sides. Kazuya is the most electric dependent Mishima because his electric is the best out of the Mishimas. As mentioned before, it's 1 frame faster, and it's also the easiest to do because you have a normal electric input, but then he also has dual inputs to do the perfect electric. So there are actually 3 different ways of doing Kazuya's electric, and they are all very close to each other. So the margin of error is greater, right, is what you say with Kazuya. Yeah. It's stricter with Devil Jin and Heihachi. So I think that's it for execution. Of course, if you're uber high level, even beginner and intermediate, you have to know how to do basic attacks out of wave dash. Forward is do crouch dash and then tap forward with the corresponding button. So this is forward free from a crouch dash. To do a down forward attack, forward and then slide into down forward. That's very important to know for combos where you very often want to dash into down forward 1, etc. And then the absolute top tier, maybe not worth mentioning, but if the absolute top tiers are gonna want to do while standing cancels from wave dash. That's very hard to do. That's an elite Mishima technique, but it's wave dashing, do a crouch dash, and then input back 2, or the button you're going for. It can be twin pistons. So again, crouch dash, back 2, rubber quickly, not too fast, not too slow. It's a finicky timing, but work at it and you will get it. And this is of course the backbone of Boa's mix-up, where he's waving towards the opponent. They're trying to stand up. And if he thinks they're going to sidestep while standing 2 immediately. And this also gives your attacks crazy range. Like forward 3, you do it from a forward dash, so it has a lot of range. But if you combine it with a crouch dash, the attack suddenly has like infinite range.
Look at
and the same
range.
with whilst yeah, it adds range.
That's crazy.
And it's like while standing 2, if I just duck and do it like this, not too much range. But if I crouch dash into it with the cancel, it suddenly has a lot of forward momentum. I'm dropping it a lot. There we go.
What's that?
Oh god. So this is adding range to key attacks. It's not obvious at first how this works, but you gotta know it's there at least, because if you do want to master a character, that's the apply to your gameplay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think that's it for execution.
Yeah, okay, cool. So let's go over the grabs with this character. So, you know, he's got a few grabs that are pretty good. 2 command grabs that are both 1+2 breaks. Yeah, go through them. If he's got any situations from the grabs, let me know as well, please.
It would have been nice to have like a 1 or 2 command throw, but unfortunately not. Yeah, it's 2 1+2 breaks. The classics. Oh god, I keep forgetting I don't have that bind. Sorry. The classic Stonehead just knocks them down. If they stay on the ground, you actually have a forward 4 there. But they can tech roll, so it's like his basic 50-50 vortex. They can tech roll, and then if they do that, you just apply your 50-50, basically. But if they stay on the ground, you can stomp or do any low, basically. You see, even the health bar says like, oh, he stayed on the ground, that combos. And then you have one of the coolest throws in the game. This is full crouch, down forward 1+2. So it's basically like a low slide, but 1+2. But if you do this from a crouch dash, there's no need to do the complicated input. You just do a crouch dash.
You do
And this
that looks
gives
nice.
nothing guaranteed, but it gives pretty decent Oki where they have to try and stand up. And you can, if they stay on the ground, you can forward for them, but situation. Out of his normal default throws, 2+4 does stand out in the Oki situation. They're on their back with their head towards you. If you try and quick stand, you can hit them in the back actually with mids.
Oh, okay, try again. Oh, do I have to do... Alright, hold on. Probably pass it.
Yeah, you gotta be very fast.
Oh, there we go.
Like so. So this does give pretty decent Oki. I think it's gotta be 13 frames. I get your back. But it's hard to do. But that has decent Oki, but otherwise you have this classic throw. Doesn't give very good Oki in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, that's it for his throws. There's nothing remarkable about it. Devil Jin and Heihachi both have much stronger throw games. I mean, Devil Jin has a perfect throw game. Heihachi has sort of a perfect throw game. Not as good as Devil Jin's, but Kazuya definitely has the weakest one.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about his rage drive then. Let's go through his rage drive. If you could set it to rage and just kind of go through, because his rage drive is pretty unique.
I would say it is one of the best rage drives in the game. It is +5 on block. It has enormous range. And a character that doesn't have a lot of crushing attacks, this crushes like crazy. It can go under mids. It crushes that much. And on hit, you hold up forward and he will transition into Heaven's Gate if you hold forward, King J. And you get a Devil transformation, and Devil is basically Kazuya on steroids. We get a 50 damage Hell Sweep. We get a mid-electric. That's -6 on block, but still it's a mid-electric. And you get a forward 4, which on hit gives a guaranteed electric into 1 billion damage. So he's really good. And he also has the best move in Tag 2, Jinpachi's down forward 1+2. This is a safe homing mid launcher, basically. That has a lot of range.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. And of course you get sidestep 2, lasers. Yeah, Devil's really good. So his rage drive, if it connects, you get Devil. And the rage drive also has really good utility in combos. Like if you wall splat the opponent, if you stand up, King J.
Yeah.
Like if you wall splat the opponent, you can get this to hit low for 60%, and it does enormous damage in combos. And it's it's just overall a really good rage drive. I think that's... oh, right. And you can extend combos quite a bit with it. God, sorry. If you hold forward. Like, so you'll use it as combo filler. And you... as well. And then his rage art is just, well, a basic rage art. Nothing special with it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's not like Heihachi's, or Devil Jin's that hit very far. And no low crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I would say, last but not least, let's talk about how to fight against the character. So, like, you don't have to give too much away. Just like maybe like 2 or 3 quick pointers about the character and how to fight against him.
Yes. For 99% of you, beginner and intermediates, squashing a Kazuya is going up in his face as safely as possible and then applying pressure. Preferably you're playing a character that has good pressure, say, a good chunk of a cast, and be relentless. Test his character knowledge and his defense. There's a chance he doesn't know your character, he has a hard time with it. Kazuya just has no panic buttons. He has no hop kick. He has no Devil Jin up 4. He has really nothing to get out of what you're doing other than having good reads on you or character knowledge, ducking at the appropriate time, sidestepping at the appropriate time, interrupting you at the appropriate time. So I would say, and he has bad poking. So my advice is try to choke the Kazuya. Go in on him and just pressure him like crazy and see if he knows your character. See what you can get away with. That's number one. Step number two, a lot of people get really annoyed with his 50-50. Just a solid advice, if he knocks you down, don't tech roll automatically. A lot of people autopilot that tech roll and just tech roll over and over. Try staying on the ground, and I promise there's a good chance that Kazuya won't even utilize forward 4 in beginner and intermediate ranks. Stay on the ground, don't let him apply another 50-50, try and get up safely. And advice number 3, the character is incredibly weak to just you stepping towards your left shoulder. So when you think Kazuya is going in, step towards the left, there's a good chance you're going to evade everything he does, because beginner and intermediate Kazuyas most often don't utilize his homing moves properly. If he's spamming a lot of electrics, know that you can duck that. I wouldn't say try and sidestep an electric spamming Kazuya due to the tracking. Try and duck it, try and get a reasonable punish, or you know what? Apply moves that high crush to get in on electric spamming Kazuyas, like so. Yeah, I think that is how you counter. That's 101 to counter the character, I would say. You don't have to be more technical than that. For 99% of Kazuyas, this will certainly be enough if you keep that in mind, in my opinion.
Well, man, that was definitely an interesting Teach Me episode. I really, really appreciate it, man. You taught me a lot of stuff that...
Hey, cheers. My pleasure. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it taught me a lot of stuff that I didn't know with this character. Like, I feel like with this character, the way how most people approach this character is, we try to like pressure the character, but once he does Hell Sweep, that part about like getting up from Hell Sweep, I think that will help a lot of people. So I really, really appreciate the knowledge.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people choke. But I feel like a lot of people, as soon as they get knocked down, it's just such an old habit to just try and stand up immediately. And for a lot of characters, that's a good option, but not versus Kazuya, in my opinion. You got to be very careful how you stand up.
But it makes it hard because, he has moves like down, back, forward that now hits grounded, forward, forward that hits grounded. Like, it makes it so hard to kind of stay on the floor.
Absolutely. And high-level Kazuyas, it's going to be a nightmare no matter what you do. But most beginner and intermediate Kazuyas, which will be what the majority of your audience will be encountering online or offline, most of them just don't even apply this. They're so lazy that they knock you down and then they just go for another 50-50.
Yeah.
No matter what. And if you just stay on the ground, then you'll have a very good opportunity to just stand up after he whiffs that, or the Hell Sweep clips you lying down, and you go away from him. You see? You slide away safely.
Yeah.
So it's... I so often see people get annoyed at Hell Sweeps, and they just tech roll into the next mix-up. And yeah, try and not do that. Try and force the Kazuya to think a little bit about his strategy and what he should do next.
Okay, cool, man. Well, that's the end of the episode. If you can, give the people your social media so that they can follow you. If they...
Oh God, this is where I hope you link all of my videos in your description. No, but it's really been a huge pleasure to do this. And yeah, if you're interested in more Mishima gameplay, you can check me out on YouTube or Twitch. I go under TheMainManSWE. And yeah, it's I love Mishima, so if that's your thing, do check it out.
Nice, man. He's got a lot of amazing content on there. If you're watching this and you ain't subscribed to him already, go and do that, man. It's free, and obviously it supports his YouTube channel. Go check him out on Twitch as well. If you're not interested in this, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Remember to subscribe, and if you like the video, give a thumbs up. I'll meet you lot in the comment section. And yeah, that's the end of the Teach Me episode. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.
simmer down. Simmer now. Couple kicks to your boat, I'm a winner now. Like Eddie with the feet.